Here's how to tie a Blake's hitch. Tying it this time with a split tail. I'm going to take the split tail and wrap it around your lanyard 4 times. That's 1 and 2 and 3, and there's 4. And if there's one thing that people get wrong about this hitch, it's that little bit right there. Tucking the rope underneath the line as they bring it back around. Sometimes people will miss it, and if they do, they'll just lose one wrap. Tuck the tail end up underneath the last 2 and tie a little stopper knot on the end. Make sure the tail end doesn't run back through the knot. And take a quick look there and make sure you do indeed have 4 loops around the rope. A figure 8 on a bight is a knot we use for anchoring and also for life support purposes. It's fairly easy. Probably you've seen it before in some context. Doesn't need to have the tail end tied off, as you may have been taught a long time ago, back in Boy Scouts. We sometimes use this knot in the running conformation to make a temporary anchor up in the tree. The bowline is a very convenient little knot. We oftentimes use it to attach our throw line to throw bags and our throw line to the climbing rope. It seems to be a fairly tricky knot for students to learn, so we teach this method. It's the slip knot inversion method. First, you're going to make a slip knot by pulling the standing end of the rope through a little loop. Then you're going to take the working end and thread it either through the back or the front of this loop. Sarah's going to go through the back here. If you go through the back, you end up with a left-handed or Portuguese bowline. If you went through the other side, you end up with the more standard and common right-handed bowline. The left-handed bowline here we don't use for life support purposes. It's rumored to be less reliable than a right-handed bowline. We can't neither confirm nor deny this rumor, but if you are using a bowline for life support purposes, you probably want to tie it off like this with a Yosemite tie-off. A water knot or ring bend is the knot we use to join pieces of webbing together. It's essentially a rewoven overhand. It's fairly simple. Start with an overhand. You're going to reweave here, and this is the only part that students are going to have trouble with. There are 2 sides to the overhand that you could reweave on. If you go on the inside, it's very difficult. If you go on the outside, as Sarah's demonstrating here, it's very easy to reweave the webbing around. This water knot comes untied by a very specific mechanism. If it's weighted and unweighted and weighted and unweighted, eventually the tail ends will pull back through the knot. So it's very important to tie the water knot with a couple of inches of tail sticking out either side, and to always re-inspect it every time you use the knot. Retie them if the tails get too close. Sometimes these things get cinched up really tight. Here's a convenient little trick to get it untied. Grab yourself a big flat rock and find a flat surface to put the knot on, and give it a whack. Just pound on this puppy a bit. Roll it over, pound on the pointy bits, and pound it and pound it and pound it, and what you'll find is that the water knot will loosen right up. You'll be able to untie even the most intractable water knot this way. The Flemish bend is a knot we use to join 2 sides of a climbing rope together. It's very similar to a figure 8 follow-through, except instead of the same end of the rope being rewoven back through the 8, now we're using the opposite end of the rope. As in the case of the figure 8, there is no need to tie stopper knots on either side of this knot. It's very strong and it won't come untied.